Hello everybody, I'm Vex and welcome to Destiny 2 News in a Nutshell. This is going to be a new series I'm going to try and put out pretty much weekly to tell you what's going on about Bungo and what they're doing at their HQ, some of the new changes and planned updates, as well as all of the reset information you'll need. I don't know when I'm going to post this. It'll probably be towards the end of the week to get this week of Bungie in and all that information sorted. But, you know, whatever. It could be a separate video, the reset information. Who knows? We're just going to go by it for the minute. And we'll see what happens. So, hey-ho, here we go. So, right, this week, Bungie talked about a lot of cool stuff. We had Iron Banner back in full 6v6 glory. And we got Bannerfall as well, which is pretty great. It should be noted that Bannerfall will be available to quick play and comp for all players of D2 after the reset on Tuesday, 6 British Summer Time or 5 GMT. Just convert that in some sort of weird converty tool. Bungo also reflected on the EP. What they said was, in theory, it was designed to be a high difficulty endgame activity for max level 3-player fire teams, which we already know that, right? They did go on to say, however, it was not designed, like specifically, it was not designed for 9-player fire teams or 9-player groups to do it. If they had more people coming in like randoms and doing it, that's fine, but it was not designed for that many people. You're supposed to be able to complete it with 3, so that's confirmed now. There are sort of vague plans to change either how EP or how matchmaking works, depending on what happens when people start to hit 385. I'm kind of personally interested to see what happens as this. I did hear that some people who abuse things like DIM to get to 385, like in the first week, were still not able to complete it after like 8 hours. Then again, people have been completing it at 370, so you know, I'm up in arms about this. I'm not really sure what's going on with EP personally. I will see what happens, I guess, next week when people start to hit that 385 cap. Alright, so we finally got our hands on the new exotic armor sandbox changes. I'm going to have to say that a million times. That is slated for next week's patch, which is 1.2.1. And just going to go over that real quick. So we have, for the Titans, we have the Syntheseps and the Lion Rampant. For the Syntheseps, the flat bonus to melee and super damage when you're surrounded by 3+ enemies is replacing the current system. And that will actually be kept for a short time after you've killed all of those enemies, so you can also go on and do cool stuff, which I'm quite surprised to see. That sounds like a good change for Syntheseps. For the Lion Rampant, you can hip fire while lift is active without interrupting it, and there is no accuracy penalty at all, so no accuracy penalty there, which is really good actually, because I'm quite interested to see how that's going to play off as well. For the Hunter then, we've got Dragon's Shadow. So dodging will reload every weapon simultaneously, every weapon, not just the equipped weapon, and it will give a bonus to mobility from the Wraith Metal Mail. And for the Mechania's Trick Sleeves as well, we have swapping to a sidearm while critically wounded greatly increases damage, which is kind of good as well. It's sort of like that Trickster sort of, I guess, last stand kind of thing, but it is a sidearm. It's not like your secondary weapon, it will be a sidearm. For the Warlock then, we have the Lunafaction Boots, which is really good, this one. Rift reload is automatic instead of entry or exit of said Rift. Empowering Rift makes weapons more effective at extended ranges, which is absolutely amazing. That is just brilliant, because Lunafaction Boots, the concept was really good, because it's basically the Rallycade for the Warlock, and now they've actually decided they're going to change that, so I'm quite interested to see how that's going to work as well, because obviously that is pretty groundbreaking stuff right there. We also have Sun Braces as well. The original effect is going to be replaced with this. Increased duration of solar grenades, and solar melee kills grant unlimited solar grenade energy for a brief time. So that sounds pretty good as well. It has to be said, my absolute favourite of all of these definitely has to be the Lunafaction Boot changes. It's going to be insanely powerful, and it's pretty much going to remove the need for the Rallycade almost entirely, and just allowing players to concentrate on damage rifts and Warlock-based damage to the bosses is quite good as well. So we've got a lot of that going as well. So for Callus, I can imagine this absolutely wiping people, especially when you get something like Suros. Me and a couple of clanmates, we did a Leviathan raid, and Suros absolutely melted Callus. So, you know, I mean, that's going to be great, and I cannot wait for that. I think Lion Rampant is also going to be quite good to play around with too. It's basically like the Wings of Sacred Dawn for the Titans. And that sort of, I guess that sort of dynamic in sort of movement and firing and movement. I think that would be quite good as well. Okay, so you're probably wondering when these changes will take place. 121 will drop at 1600 GMT, so that is about 5 o'clock British Summer Time. Convert that when you will. There will be no downtime. The expected maintenance time will be 4 hours, so it will end at 8 o'clock GMT or 9 o'clock BST. The game will also be available for download when the patch, or the maintenance starts rather, at 1600 GMT. Okay, and I guess we should go through a couple of the patch notes, just really quick. These are the bug patch notes, so that's going to be quite good. We have Hawthorne will finally be fixed, thank God for that. I've taken way too many clan engrams and just holding my head in shame to that. Talus's shield will also be fixed, so before the damage phase, where you have to destroy the shield, that will be fixed, so you don't have to do too much damage to it. Shriekers will also not close too fast in the Warsat public events, so that will allow players to actually complete the heroic requirements and get that done. And that pretty much concludes this week at Bungie for this week. This week I've been Vex. Next week I'll probably be here as well, and maybe in a few weeks as well. Thanks for watching this week's D2 in a nutshell. Take care. Adios.